Good afternoon. This is Mona and Jan joining you for Greeting the Week, and start Mondays off with a bouncy step so that the rest of your week will follow suit. And so today we are talking about if you're self-disciplined, can you be happy and self-disciplined? Or is self-discipline just so confining that it takes all the happiness away? So what do you think, Jan? You're the one that came up with the topic.
Yes. Hello, everybody. And I've been thinking about self-discipline for quite a while. And I overhear conversations about people, I should eat better. I should, all these things that you should do. And then when they don't do it, then they feel guilty about it and they feel bad. And so they're thinking out self-discipline is like, oh, well, if I should do it, that means I have to do it, and I don't want to do it. And but how am I going to feel if I actually do it? How am I going to feel about myself if I do it? And I've been reading a few books talking about happiness and just successful people, and you have to have a routine because there are things that just need to get done during the day, and if you put them off, then things just pile up and then you feel bad. Whereas if you could find a way to get those things done, and it really doesn't have to take a lot of time if you just do it. Sitting there watching that laundry pile up. Every time you go by and you look at it, you're like, oh, I just don't want to do it. But if you've got a certain time that you do your laundry, whether you have a big family, you have to do it every day, or you can get by with once a week or once every other week, or whatever your routine is, that at least you have some kind of a routine that works for you. And then when you get in, talking about laundry, because I just finished my laundry. Monday now is my laundry day. And so I just got finished putting everything away, and it's like such a sigh of relief. I don't have to worry about it for a whole week. And so you feel good about yourself. You feel accomplished, and you're not looking at that pile of dirty clothes.
Yeah, I like to look at the fact that there's no present like the time.
Yeah, okay.
Meaning that when we use our time judiciously and have some kind of a schedule, we're giving ourselves a present.
Yes.
And when we put it off, and so it goes on to the should and could that you were talking about when we first started out. Here's Wyatt.
Okay. Hello, Wyatt. You joining us today?
And whenever we go with what I should have done, to me, that's just a weight that's just pushing you down. It's like, keeping you grounded as opposed to having the wings to fly. And if we can stop in those moments that I should have done this and let ourselves know, what, it was a decision that I killed off by not going with it. And therefore I realized I could have. And to me, that just lightens it. Oh, I could have.
Yeah.
I could have. And it gives space. And it's just turning I should have, that instead of putting yourself down with, into I could have, we just realize it's like it opens up.
Mm-hmm.
I could. And if I get enough of those I could haves, then I will.
Right. And then if you also look at yourself as somebody who is organized, or somebody who takes care of things, and you value having a nice house, or being clean, or whatever it is, right. And then you do those things, and then it's not, you're not having to make that decision anymore. This is the kind of person I am, and this is what I value, and so these are the things I do. So you're not wrestling with the should and I should have, and you're saying, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I'm going to do it because I know I will feel better once I can get that off my list.
Right. Right here's a little sticky note. I wish I had put the date on there because it's been up there for at least 3-4 years.
Oh, really?
And it was a moment of insight that I had, and I just scratched it down, and it was so insightful that I put it on my tower. And so it says, there is no present like the time.
Okay.
Because I realized I wasn't using my time judiciously.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not times, it's decisions and discipline. It's not that I don't have enough time. It's that I don't have enough decision putting into it just when to do what, and being the discipline. Until you accomplish your most significant priority, everything else is a distraction.
It is. Yes. Yeah.
But it's still weighing down because we're thinking, well, I should be doing that. I should be studying. I should be this. Until we put those other things aside, maybe even sort the laundry, or maybe even get the pot roast going, but then go back to what is the most pressing. And like I say, you go into, well, I could and I am. So therefore, we're just expanding our universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And thinking about the things that help us to not to feel good about ourselves, and that we're making progress, and we're not having things holding us back. It's time well spent, because it really doesn't take a whole lot of time to get things planned out. I'm the epitome of organization. I plan my meals for the week. I plan, I know at certain days or certain things I do. Maybe for some people that is very stifling, but for me it's very freeing, because I know that there's a certain time that I have put aside for that. And so then I don't have to rush at the last minute, and I don't have to scurry around to try to get things done because I didn't have time.
And it becomes drudgery when we put duty into it.
Yes.
When we have it as the discipline that is going to, again, expand so that I have more time because it's more well organized.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're getting it done, and then you feel good and give yourself an atta-girl.
Yeah.
An atta-boy.
Yeah.
And the time well spent. I like to look at words that are energy words. And to me, spending, if I'm spending so much time especially over what I should be doing, then I'm spent.
You're spent. All your energy is spent.
Yeah. So I want to look at it, instead of spending time, how am I investing my time?
Yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it, that you're investing time so you can enjoy yourself later.
Exactly.
You don't have to be going until 10, 11 o'clock at night to try to finish things up. That you did it in a more relaxed time.
And I want to use that investment in absolutely everything I do. Even in giving a tip to the person that brings my Sonic out to me. I'm saying that I am investing in their future.
Yeah.
And see it as an investment rather than an expense, or as something that you're spending on.
Yeah.
And when we make the time and sit down and figure out our budgets and so forth, and begin to look at, I'm investing in our home, I'm investing in our future, and putting.
And it's so important to change. And it's so important to change your mindset so that you're looking at it as a positive, that you are investing. You're investing a little time right now doing these things that you don't really like doing, because it's going to pay off later. First of all, it'll be done and you'll be free to do other things. And you also have that good feeling that you did it and you accomplished the things that you wanted to do. And, I'd rather feel that sense of accomplishment than to feel guilty because I didn't get to it. One more weekend passed and I didn't get this thing done.
Yeah. Yeah. And whenever we can realize that, I had the time, I had the energy, and I could have, instead of I should have.
Right. I get to.
And the thing of it is, looking at, self-discipline, and is it contributing to happiness or drudgery? There is actually, I'm real big about looking at the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Add up all the pluses and take away the minuses, and look at the things that are multiplying and dividing and all that, and get right down to the bottom line. And the bottom line is, there is only one thing that contributes to our happiness or to our unhappiness. Only one thing.
And what, you going to tell us what that one thing is?
Okay, well, I gotta give you time to think about it first. That one thing is our thoughts.
Okay, yes.
Our one thing is our thoughts.
how we look at things, whether we look at it as a drudgery or I get to.
Right, 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 right. And whether we look at it as wasting my time or investing my time.
Right. Yeah.
And as we look at it as, yeah, I mean, it goes back to our thoughts, our perception of it is. And so, now that's not to say that people that we're investing our time in and with, it's not to say that, that they're well organized and not contributing to. But as we begin to realize that the only person I can change is me, and then work together, be more into listening to what the other person says, well, it's just like we receive what we give. And it's like a seed that's planted, it doesn't grow up overnight.
No, it doesn't.
And so as we begin to plant those little seeds, in time they will grow as others will begin to adapt. Well, like draws to like. If someone is yeah, unfortunately, the human nature as a whole may have a tendency to go yeah right back.
They do. Yeah. It's you get caught up in their energy, whatever it is. You it's contagious, and you get it, and you end up doing the same thing. So you have to make a conscious effort not to get dragged down if that's not what you want.
Right. And so back to, developing discipline so that it can contribute to happiness, fulfillment, well-being. It may take a little practice, but that's what life is all about.
Yeah. And it does take effort to look at things and to find the positive in things, but you can find something positive in just about anything that happens. And so if you can look beyond and say, what can I learn from this? And how am I going to feel when this is done? And instead of what you're feeling right now and that you really don't want to do something right now. So yeah, I know I don't really feel like doing it right now, but I'm going to feel so good later when it's done.
Right, exactly. Yeah, put a little bit of extra energy and a little extra effort into it now, and then just really relax. And then when you do relax, it's just like you sit in a chair and you can sit there and be tense, or you can just relax and just sit in it simply because that chair's going to hold you.
Yeah.
So you can just and let all those things roll off that's binding you down, all those shoulds. If you're still there, just let it roll off on the floor and just revel in how good it will feel.
And then knowing that those shoulds help me to create that vision of who I want to be and how I want to be. And so then, after a while, you don't really look at it as drudgery. I mean, I talk to people who are trying to get exercise programs or trying to eat better, and it's just time after time after time. It's like, no, I wasn't able to do it today. No, I wasn't able to do it this past week. And then, so how do you feel about that? Well, I know I'm going to do it. And you just feel so defeated and so bad about yourself. And then you start that downward spiral of I'm no good, I can't do anything. Just stop and say, okay.
And then it's putting it off till tomorrow, or, I'll do it whenever the kids graduate.
Oh, yes.
The kids graduate. I meant college. I'll do it when they graduate college. Because we have a tendency to always put those things out in advance until we begin to look at the fact that the only moment I have at my disposal is this one right here, right now.
Yeah.
And so it's Nike time. So just do it. And then feel good about it.
Right. And then you do have time for more things that you want to do. I mean, setting goals for yourself. What do I want to try to do more of, and what do I want to try to do less of?
So you mean as we become more disciplined in one area and become better at even study skills or cooking or cleaning or whatever, as we become more proficient at it, it expands time.
It does. It does, because you don't really have to think about it. You're not thinking about how boring this is, or no. You just kind of get into the zone and you get it done, and then the next thing you know, it's over. And so then, okay, I'm done. I'm done now. Now what am I going to tackle? And then learning new things. If I'm going to try to learn how to do something different, that also gives you a sense of satisfaction and helps you to feel good about yourself.
And everything has a learning curve.
Yes. And
so give permission to have that learning curve in there.
Yeah. And then it goes to the whole doing thing. Instead of just sitting back and I'm bored, so I'm going to call somebody on the phone and we're just going to talk about the same stuff over and over that we've been talking about every day for the past several months. Let me try to learn something new and do something new that's going to be productive, that I can feel good about myself. And so I now have a new ritual.
Right. So we have something to report rather than something to regret.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do it again. Yes.
Right.
But I did it.
Right. Let me tell you how I did it, or if you want to. But our career and practice, everything's really a practice.
It is.
Attorneys have a practice, doctors have a practice, counselors have a practice, and it's because we never get it down. But we're always learning and doing and getting better and better.
Well, as long as we look at it that we're always going to learn. Because you can look at your job or whatever you're doing and saying, oh, this is so boring. I can't wait until I can retire, or whatever it is. And then you miss those opportunities. Whereas if you're looking at it, okay, I can learn something new every day. And I'm going to try to find something to energize me, excite me. Because you can find it there if you're looking.
And in that learning, we need to have something to hang it on so it'll stay.
Yeah.
If I had something in my hand and I wanted to, and it was heavy, I need someplace to set it down. So there needs to be something. And it's the same thing in learning. And so as we begin to equate it with what we know, why do we go to school 8, 12, 10, 16, 24 lifetime of years? It's because we are getting more information that is compounding what we already know, but it's giving a different flavor to it, a little different nuance to it. And as we look at, I've done this so far, and asking ourselves again and again and again, is it effective? Well, the clothes eventually get washed, the house eventually, the studying eventually, blah, 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 the bills eventually. But is it effective enough, or could there be a little tweaking to it? So it could be a little bit more effective.
Yeah.
As in paying online or having it automatically taken out of your account, so you don't have to rush to go by the bank or to go by the, pay the bill, so that you're using all of your time and all of your resources more effectively. That is definitely contributing to well-being.
Yes, it does. It does. Instead of looking at things and how burdened I feel, okay, so how can I make this a little easier for me, and keep moving forward from there. Yeah.
And we started off for us, but then we realized that anytime we do what is good for us, by default, it's doing good for others.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, it's keeping the frustration down so that we don't kick the dog or or fuss at someone else that's a little disorganized.
Right. Or have some little thing set us off. Because we're so tense and.
Because it sounds to me like that we're back to the fact that our emotions follow and hinge on what we think and what we do.
What we think and what we do.
Or what we don't do.
Or what we don't do. Exactly. Well, that constitutes doing. Not doing something still means you're acting.
Right. Even passively, it's still, yeah. Now, no decision is a decision.
Right.
We just didn't let ourselves know it. And so therefore we stay on that back tire and go with the feelings that's just slows us down.
Yeah.
So as we look at the one thing that really contributes all across the board to well-being, goes back to our thoughts. But we're not talking about lying to ourselves. We're talking about getting honest with ourselves.
Right.
It's not that I'm not going to get tired. It's that as I develop that muscle, I can probably get less tired.
Yeah. I mean, the more you do something, the less energy you have to put into doing it, because your brain just kind of takes over. You don't really have to think about it. It just happens.
So then it becomes organized behavior, and we're just doing it without even thinking about it. It becomes second nature to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we think about it and go with those shoulds whenever it's not being effective in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, I have found this learning choice theory and practicing choice theory in my life. I don't ever, I don't think I do say that I should do something. I mean, that vocabulary has kind of come out of those words have come out. I just don't say them anymore. Do you find that too, Mona?
Yeah. And I become more attuned to, not in a critical manner, because I so, with God's grace and continual practice, want to observe without judgment.
Yeah.
That a righteous observation. It's not that someone's, that I'm not being short with someone. It's observing it and saying, "Wait, I don't have to do that because I have choices."
Right.
I don't have to snark back because someone says something to me in a snarky way. I can make those choices. And so it does become. But then as I hear other people that talk about, well, I should have this or I should have that. And what I'm wanting to do is say, well, you could have.
Well, why didn't you? Why don't you? You can still go do it now. What's keeping you from doing it now?
I want to have that loving observation without judging. And, maybe have a little compassion for them. And maybe depending on the relationship with the person, I used to be like that too. And I'm so thankful that I go there less and less. I'm not saying I never go there.
Yeah.
And it's looking at, I'm getting closer when. And I'm getting closer when I see it sooner, stop it quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And and if it's something that you're saying to yourself, I should do that, well, then make that decision. Okay, is that one of your values? Is that something that really is important to you?
Right. Good.
And is it you who's saying that you should, or is it because you feel society is putting pressure on you, or friends, or a parent, or
exactly. That is trying to keep up with what society says.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't really feel a need. I'm only doing it to please somebody else, and so I don't need to please these other people. So let me change my thoughts again, thinking and saying, okay, well, maybe other people think I should do that, but I really don't care.
Right. And it's not that ugly, hateful, in your face, I'm not doing that. It's the fact that that's not one of my value systems. That's not what.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to the exercise thing. There's a lot of people who say I should exercise, and they don't. And really, they don't want to. and if you're making that decision not to, okay, that's your decision to make. And be good with that decision instead of beating yourself up because I should go out and do something that I really don't want to do.
Right. And, Jan, in my book, Creating Value, I don't want to define value for anyone. But in there, one of the segments I talk about that, decide for yourself what you value. And I give a whole list of things that, you can add to. And then, rather than looking at all these lists of things that I value and rating them 1 to 10, no. Take each one individually and weigh it on its own.
Yeah.
From a scale of 1 to 10. And then after you've weighed it, get honest with yourself. Is that really a value, or is that just something I'm saying is a value?
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you an example, from my own life that before I wrote the book. So it was health. Oh, well, sure, I value health. I mean, it's a 10.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I got honest with myself, look at my weight, look at my health, look at what I'm eating, look at how much I move, or actually don't move, I began to realize that, although I verbally say, yes, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we as a society often spend our health trying to get our wealth, and then we spend our wealth trying to regain our health. We
Yes.
get all backwards. And it dawned on me, you know what? I have really lied to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I really valued health, I would take better care of me.
Right. Right.
And so I began to do that. And it's a continuing, ongoing journey. But I'm telling you, I am healthier, literally healthier today than I was when I was 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm definitely more active. And back to the exercise, we need to exercise. I like to not, to me, exercise is kind of a 4-letter word.
Yeah, for a lot of people it is.
So instead of exercise, I'm going to make it another 4-letter word, but one that I enjoy, and it's move.
Okay.
And I can do something that moves, something to, even if it's just twisting my ankles while I'm sitting, to keep them limber. Because if you will sit there in your chair and twist your feet and your ankles, as you age, you will be less likely to trip and fall. Yeah. Because you've already motivated your ankles to turn.
Mm-hmm. Well, we get this idea that exercise means I have to sweat and I have to go for an hour and do all this stuff. And more and more studies are showing that it doesn't have to be that bad. It's, you just don't want to be sitting all day long. You need to be getting up and move, even just a 5-minute burst of energy, going up and down a couple of flights of stairs, or walking around the block or something. It doesn't have to take long to do it. And you may not call it exercise, but you're moving.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the thing, you don't want to be sedentary.
Yeah. And again, talking about Dr. Glasser and his book, Positive Addiction, mm-hmm. which is so fascinating, is that if you want this high, this euphoric high, there's 2 ways of getting it. And one is the runner's high.
Right.
Eventually you're out there and your body even longs for it whenever you go days without running. Because But the other way is through meditation.
Right.
So whether it is the yoga pose, or whether it is the just sitting and getting honest with yourself, thinking about what really is of value. And am I putting too much stress on this, or,
Mm-hmm. And there's more than 2 ways. I know he said the two ways in the book, but there's a lot more ways to do it. But that shows the extreme. Running is
the extreme, but it shows
and then
one could be more passive and one could be more active.
Right.
To get that euphoric high.
And it depends on the person. Some people need to be active to get there, and some people just need to be quiet to get there. And it is to find what works for you, find what helps you to feel good and do that.
And actually, regardless of which one is your go-to, it doesn't mean that it's not a combination of activity as well as reflection.
And different days, different things are going to feel good for you and work for you.
Yeah. But we are looking at greeting the week, greeting every day, greeting every circumstance, greeting every person that is contributing to our own individual well-being.
Yeah.
Because, the more we regret all those things, whether it's with a person or what we didn't, we're detracting from our own well-being.
So make a decision as to what's important for you, what you value, and then go for it.
Yeah.
Do something.
Well, I have one more grandchild in here. You want to come over and get your face on?
Okay. All right. So who do we get?
This is Weston.
Weston.
Hey,
Weston. Yeah. All right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. All right.
we're getting ready to head out now and go hit
Okay.
about 6 or 7 stores. So
All right. Well, that sounds great. Thanks everybody for joining us today.
Yeah,
And
it was awesome.
the next week on Greet the Week.
okay, see you later.
Bye.